think it's very difficult for me to think there's just one track which made me the brand I am. I think there was a lot of tracks which I worked on in the past which probably I learned a lot from. But there was a track which was called Tera Saath Hai Kitna Pyara. It was a remix I did for the legendary late Feroz Khan. He was a personal favorite of mine. So I did a remix of that track, which I worked on for a lot of years. It probably didn't get the attention it deserved. But I think that's probably the track which made me who I am, because I worked a lot on it. There's a lot of experience working on the track, and as well as when it came out, it was the first major song which featured my name on it. So probably that was a track I feel which got me from just a DJ based in Dubai to a DJ kind of known in Dubai and India. So I think that's the track for me personally. But otherwise, probably for the audience, there's a track Slowly which I produced for Guru Randhawa and Pitbull, which became quite a hit, which probably put me on the mark. As a kid, I think there were probably just few channels we had on TV, not like right now where we have a lot of channels coming up. So we had this channel back in Dubai, Channel 33, and they used to show like really old movies, and I used to love Feroz Khan. Actually, I thought he was one of the most stylish actors back in the days. And there was this movie, I think Jabaz, which was like amazing, and there's this track Tera Saath Hai Kitna Pyara, which I really used to like as a kid. And when I started producing music, there was one track I really wanted to remix. And after trying a few tracks, I got into the studio in Bombay, and I said this is the track I want to really work on, and that's how it happened. I think yes, at that point of time probably it was for someone else. Probably at this point of time in life it was for someone else. Yeah, I think life moves on, and yes, it was for someone. I'm a Bollywood lover by heart. I think from as a kid I remember watching Khalnayak as the first movie in the theatre, and ever since that I've been a Bollywood movie buff. As a kid, as now, I love Bollywood music, but otherwise while partying I love listening to techno music. Right. I think that's the genre which resonates with me a lot. Yes, I am producing what I'm really into. For partying, I really like partying to techno music, but otherwise, being a Bollywood music fan myself, I'm also trying to bring the best out of the East and the West, as well as my roots from the Middle East. Since while I was growing up, we used to listen a lot to music from the West as well, and that's how I think slowly as well came onto. We had Pitbull, who is a big American artist, and Guru Randhawa, who is a big Indian artist, and bringing both these sounds together is what I've been trying to achieve, and it's something I'm trying to bring about a lot more as well. It is having been born and raised in Dubai. I think Dubai is also a mixture of all the cultures, as well as the sounds and the music, and that's what I want to bring to the industry here as well. Not just in my production, actually, even in my DJ sets, I try to infuse a lot of sounds from the West and the East, and try to play around a lot of different sounds. And I think that's yeah, like you said, it could be probably my forte. So back in the days when I started DJing, we never used to have remixes so easily available. So I got into producing remixes. 10 years back, I remember we used to run around to markets outside of Haji Ali in Bombay. There were markets in Delhi where they were selling fake CDs, and because we as DJs couldn't get good remixes. So I thought, okay, to become a good DJ, I needed to produce remixes. So that's how I got into remixes. Once I got into remixes, now Bollywood started releasing remakes of old songs. So I thought, okay, there are not enough pop songs, so why not get into making pop songs? So over the last few years, I've been producing a lot of pop music. Now I feel there's a gap in the market where there's not enough songs for a festival crowd, for the younger crowd, for the younger generation. So I think for the next few years, that's what I'm trying to achieve. I've just done a track called Teri Aadat, which was one of the first Indian tracks to release on a major European label. It's released under Smash the House, which is a Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike's label. So that's a huge one. It features Arjun Kanungo and Amsterdam producer called Sandro Silva. And I think that's something I want to really dabble into, put my hands into producing music for the younger crowd, a lot more festivals, because we play for a lot of campus festivals as well, a lot of college crowd, and the number of festivals happening in India like Sunburn and the others are huge. So I think there's a gap for the Bollywood market, Indian market to get into, and that's what I want to try for the next few years. So I think personally I get bored doing the same thing over and over again. So I try to do different genres, especially when it comes to original music. So I think initially I started off doing a little more housey tracks. Then I got into a complete pop song, reggaeton kind of track, and now I'm more into a EDM festival type. So I think it's more about getting out of your comfort zone. That helps you create something new, and that's what I've been trying. That I don't try to stick to producing the same thing. Try something different every single time. I think it has to be a bit of both, because unfortunately in India you don't have much of independent music coming out. So there is definitely pressure from the label that this is working, so let's try the same thing. But as an artist you want to try something different. So it mostly happens that you are working on something and then the label comes in and says, okay, no, I think we should add a bit more commercial ingredient. But I think they also know what really works, because they want to touch the mass market as well. So there's a bit of conflict always happening between the artist and the label, but we try our best to push out something new every single time. I think a lot of retro songs have been recreated now, so choosing one is going to be very tough. But I think a lot of 90s songs, maybe there are a few Shah Rukh Khan songs I would probably like to recreate, or maybe even Oh Jaane Jana. I think that's something I would like to remix and probably just recreate completely. So I think it's first of all, we as DJs try to remix a song which can be played into a club environment. So we are trying to add more beats to it. We are trying to create a houseier type of feel to it. So it's all about understanding what we want to do with the song. So let's say we listen to a song and we think, okay, it's a love song. We want to create a bit more upbeat, and at some point of time it has to be a sing-along part as well. So it's all about thinking how the audience would react to a particular song in a club, and that's how we start. And we think about which genre we want to create the song in and remix in, and that's how the journey starts. It's a long process. It's not easy, but that's how it is, how it starts. So I think being a DJ as well as a producer, it helps, because then I get a live feedback of what I create, and then I can make some changes if needed, or at least I understand from the audience point of view, from the DJ's point of view as well, what is to be created which would work well in a club. Okay, one thought, I think I've been through a few heartbreaks. I think every artist goes through that like in the movie Rockstar, they say you can't have an artist without heartbreaks. So I've been through a lot of heartbreaks, or probably broken a few hearts as well. But one song which definitely comes into my mind is Wo Lamhe by Atif Aslam. I think that's one song which is completely, maybe not anger, but more on the heartbreak side. Yeah, that's when you said heartbreak, that's the song which popped into my mind. I think as an artist, when we started off and the fame hit, we kind of forgot that there was any kind of angst to it. But COVID really has put us back into place. I think COVID is one thing which has probably made me really angry, because we were working on a lot of projects music wise in terms of shows, and then we were completely cut off. We were back at home, and okay, this is a good time for me to sit in the studio, work on some music. But at that point of time, even the labels took a back seat and said, let's just not work on anything new, because we are unsure about when new music can be released. So I think that's probably a phase where there was a lot of angst, where I thought that's the best time of my life coming in, and you're just sitting at home doing probably nothing, and there's no motivation or inspiration. Because I used to get inspired a lot by travel, by meeting a lot of new people, and suddenly you're sitting at home doing nothing, and I think that's probably brought a lot of angst. I think I'll probably have to create that track myself, because there's a lot happened during those past 18 months, which is, I think most of the artists would agree to that. It's been a very tough time for all of us artists in terms of not having the motivation. I think Eminem song with Rihanna, I'm trying to I can't get the name of the song, but in that particular rap, Eminem raps as if he's actually beating her. It's about domestic violence, and probably that song is kind of coming to my mind when you ask this question. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the song. shadow. So that's a very interesting question. I wish I had a better answer to this because I keep getting asked this a lot, and I keep telling myself I should probably create an answer which would have a better story. I would have a better story, but it was just I was in school. It's probably a teenager, and at that point of time there was a thing that everybody had a very cool name as a DJ. So, and I was a very shy guy, a nerd in school. So I thought I needed an alter ego. So I thought, okay, it's me and my shadow. So the shadow is the crazy, the wilder one, while I'm the nerd in school. So that's how I came up with the name Shadow. The kind of music I listen to a lot of David Guetta, Dimitri Vegas, and Like Mike. These are the artists I look up to in terms of music production as well as their performances on stage. I think especially David Guetta, when I was a kid, I used to listen to him, and now 10 years later he's produced this certain kind of music. It's called Future Rave, and I'm really inspired by it. And for him at this age to create something that new and bring it to the new generation, I think that's really great. I mean, we have played to different crowds. Sometimes 25,000 people. Sometimes you have just fun playing to 25 people. So it's very tough for me to think which is the best. But I think one of the shows I performed with Yo-Yo Honey Singh, and it was right on the beach. The stage was crazy because it was right by the beach. It was in Dubai at the Atlantis. I think that was one of the best shows I performed in terms of production, in terms of everything, the crowd being there. Like I said, I'm working on a lot more festival tracks right now, which is catering to the youth, and that's something really which excites me as well, because that's something which is me. So at times, like you asked earlier, are you creating sounds which are which I'm imbibing myself, or it's more for the crowd? So I think with the festival music I'm trying to create, which is more what I am. I go to a lot of music festivals myself. So for me, creating that kind of sounds and bringing it to India has been really special. Like I said, there's this track called Teri Aadat which is coming out. It's just come out actually, featuring Arjun Kanungo. So that's the kind of songs I want to really push out to, and I think that's what they will be probably listening to in the next few years as well. People tend to overthink a lot whether they should do this or not. I think they should just jump into it, see if they like it. If they don't, there's always an option to change midway. So just jump into it. If you think music is something you really want to do, just start and throughout the process you will find out if you really want to do it or not. And at some point of time you think, no, that's not something you want to do, then you can change at that point of time. But just thinking whether we should do it, we should not, maybe the time will pass by.